This is a video introduction to Script Magician's plot command, or SMP for short. SMP can be accessed from the AutoCAD add-ins ribbon under the Script Magician palette or the Script Magician toolbar where there's a plot icon for SMP or SMP here. SMP presents a customized dialog box very similar to the AutoCAD's plot command with all the plot settings uh, for selection that can then be saved as a script file in so that you could assign that script file to for running for various drawings by using either Script Magician's drawing command or Script Magician's folder command. This way you don't have to rely on the page setups, which is inside drawings, whereas the script file is outside of the drawing. So for example, in this custom dialog box for this drawing, sample drawing, I can then select under the model tab, which is this current tab right here, a particular uh, PC3 device. In this case, currently selecting the drawing to PDF.pc3 file, or I could then also show um, the system printers as well, which is then obvious all the Windows printers in addition to the AutoCAD printers, or hide them. So instead of having to go into the options dialog box and make the adjustments there, I could make these adjustments directly on this window and choose the settings here. I could then decide to plot this PDF to a drawing folder, this current drawing folder, or a custom folder that's not in the current drawing. So the current drawing folder is this, and I go, well, I really want to plot it into, and this presents a selection window for me to select a location. So instead of under the demo folder, I could choose to put it under the Script Magician demo, which is a folder higher up, or I could go all the way up, obviously, all the different subfolders underneath the various different drives. But for the purpose of this demo, just going to place these PDFs that I'm going to create one folder up. And right away with that selection tells me now that's going to be in this folder location and not where the drawing is located, which is one more folder down. All right. So in addition, I could choose based on the device I've chosen for plotting the different paper sizes. And in this case, let's say I'm going to choose the 17 by 11 paper size. And again, each device, when selected, will have its own paper selection. For example, the JPEG and PNG. So this is exactly the same as what you'll select and see in the plot window. But in this case, it's all now embedded inside the SMP command. So again, 11 by 17 or 17 by 11, and I could choose portrait or landscape, and I really want to have landscape. All right. And then instead of extents, I'm gonna go ahead and choose views. So this is something in addition to a regular plot window allows you to do, which is the SMP will actually let you select multiple views. So in this case, and I'm very basically define what those views are here. And I'm going to go ahead and choose these views. I'm going to choose the A1, B1, C1, and D1, E1. So these, basically 5, 6 views, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 views to be plotted all together. And it tells me down here as to what the views names are, multiple views that's going to be plotted using the script file. That purpose is to create a script file. And by default, it tells me where it's going to be, which is the current folder with that name based on the drawing name and then the SMP command, and then of course the time and date. So each time you run this program, it's going to generate a different file. Or you could say, well, I don't want to have this generic file. I'm going to actually do a save as and create a specific file. So I'm going to go ahead and create a file for SMP model views in this case. I have some script files already saved in this demo, SMP script files. I just add an S here. So now it's going to now all these settings I'm going to select is going to be saved into this particular script file. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and plot the line weights. Don't have any transparency. I'm going to actually do a plot stamp. Okay. So I could select plot stamp and then this stamp actually appears. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go, well, let's see, I'm not gonna make any more changes in the plot stamp. I have the login name, date, and time. I'm okay with that. Okay. So I'm gonna block back to this window, and I'm gonna actually run a script file, which is something that you can't really do with the publish command. I would like to run a script file before running this main script file, the plot. So I'm gonna run some script file to change some layers, like show a layer. I have a layer that's shown for not construction, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and select script files that I already created in the script folder. Now, and I call them pre-plot layer settings, and actually I'm going to open them and show you what they are. Basically, what it does is it's going to set the layer thaw layer 0 set to, and then eventually set to layer 0. Make sure layer 0 is the current layer. Turn off the layer called ellipse objects in case I have any ellipse objects shown. Freeze that layer, and then turn thaw a layer called mtext, and also the not for construction layer. All right, so that basically what this layer settings script file is going to do. So I'm going to make sure that is run before actually plots these views. All right, and we're going to actually keep the change for the settings I made, and I'm going to actually create a page setup. So I could do that here with the add command here. Now, typically with the AutoCAD plot commands page setup, it doesn't really give you a list for you to choose from. In this case, SMP will. So I'm going to create a page setup. I'm overwrite the one that I called model views 2, right? Because there's more than one. So just overwrite that one. So all these settings now that on this side is actually be saved into this model views too. Now, typically with a page setup, you only can save one view. So for example, all these views here, it's only save the first view, not the rest. But the script file that I'm creating will actually save all these views. So that's the advantage of having, again, using a script file instead of a page setup. Pen parameter, I'm gonna go ahead and choose monochrome. So it'll be, black and white. And then go, well, I also want to actually see how it looks like in monochrome. So I could click on display plot style. So actually now I could see it, or I'll toggle it back to the way it was. So it's nice to be able to visually see back and forth in this SMP customized window as to how it looked like based on the CTP file I choose. So for example, I choose all color, then it doesn't matter, right? Because it's going to show all the colors. But if I choose monochrome or grayscale, you see that actually what happens when this display plot style is checked, right? Versus again being unchecked. So it's nice to be able to have these options here in this customized dialog SMP dialog box all in one location instead of having to go to a page setup, which is again a separate window. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and plot, see what happens. I plot a 1/4 inch, you got a foot for 11 by 17 paper size. And these are I have basically customized some uh, metric as well as imperial scales, or using the scale right now is using a scale list. So whatever you have scale list that you've defined in this drawing, it's going to actually present it here. If you don't want to use a scale list that's defined, you use some additional custom scales that I've defined in this SMP program. That can be done as well. So again, you can see it here, or you go, well, I'll go back to scale list, and there it is. It's the same in this drawing. Actually, that scale that is defined here, right? And then I'm going to center the plot, right? Just let's do a preview and see how that looks like as to what happens, and only preview one view. It's not going to preview all of it. So using the AutoCAD preview command. So this is how the view, one of the views will look like, again, with the plot stamp shown. All right, and exit. So I go, this looks pretty good. Now, how does the script file actually look like though? So I can actually click edit. And then some of these commands down here. So to edit the script file, and it tells you exactly where it is. It creates a script file for editing. And basically the first set of commands all the way, basically on the top, down all the way to where it says script commands begin. These are all the uh, sections of the script file that the plot script magician will need to read when it actually opens it up again. So in other words, everything I've saved, I could go back and reopen this file and do some more changes without having to rely on the fact, oh, what did I do before? So the script file created by SMP is multi-purpose to be able to use it again by the program, as well as actually defining what's in the script file to run the commands. For example, it's going to place the PDF files in this folder, not in the drawing folder. It's going to deal with plot transparency where in this case there isn't any, but then you always going to use this particular device, and then the paper size, landscape. So everything that I've selected, it's actually saving. And then they go, well, how does the multiple views go? Well, actually it does the view one first. Okay. And then it repeats, it cycles again to do the second view and so on. So it's all this is saved inside the script file for AutoCAD to run either currently or a later date. I'm going to run it currently right now by clicking the start command. So it's going to go through and generate each view, creating the PDF in each view to complete the process. And of course, I'm on my other window, I actually have the views coming up. And this is actually, for example, the view E1. And notice that the not for construction now comes up, which wasn't there before because I ran a script file that shows that I control layers showing what that not for construction text layer to make sure that gets turned on. All right, so these are the PDFs that have been created. Go ahead and close out of them. Going back to the SMP window. So say I'm going to create a second one now, and this one I'm going to actually do a layout. So before it was everything in the model. So I'm going to layout here, and this is, for example, a layout here located. Well, let's see what kind of layout selections I have, because now on this side I actually have a select layout window. By default, the script file that's created can be the current, whatever the current layout is. But so it's very generic, so you can apply to multiple drawings. In this case, I actually wanted to select certain layouts to apply this script file to. So I'm going to select the one that's all have 8.5 by 11. So now whatever I do here and save that script file, it's going to apply to the 8.5 by 11, these two layouts down here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new script file, not use a generic one that you based on the date and time, but instead of the model views, I'm going to do the layout views for letter size, right? Or layout letters views. All right. So now this script file is going to deal with these layouts, these two layouts here. And again, it's listed also here. All right. And I actually have this particular layout already have a page setup defined. Likewise with the other one too. And then I could then choose to go ahead and use this definition. But let's see how it looks like to do again, a preview as to what it looks like. Okay, so this is how it looks like in the preview. Right? A1 for that layout. Okay, notice this is not the same as the model actually, but looking at the layout called 8 by 11 landscape A1. All right. And then I go, well, let's see. Maybe I don't want to use that one. I want to use the 11 by 17. Well, very easy. Again, go back in here and choose these two instead. Okay. Don't use the current, but you choose current. Again, it's for application on a drawing. Whatever the current layout it is, it's going to be plotted. But in this case, I want to choose specific name layouts. So you want this to apply to another drawing, they better have those two exact same layout names. Otherwise, this script will not work. All right, so 11 by 17 also have page setups defined. So again, it found what they were and listed them here, right? So here's 11 by 17 landscape layout for or page setup. So these two layouts here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do um, I'm not going to hide paper space objects. I can uncheck that. I go, whoa, it just disappeared, that late page setup. So I'm going to go ahead and add it and select it back, overwriting what's there, right? So yes, overwrite it. So I've overwrote that layout, the page setup for this particular layout. And then plot with plot styles, don't plot transparency, for example. And then let's this time uncheck the plot stamp. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and again, add it back, 11 by 17. Overwrite that 11 by 17 one. And again, although this is all changing the page setup, it's also going to save that this is all this information in this script. file for plotting again currently or for at a later date. All right, again, there's a scale list. In this case, it's going to be 1 to 1. Let's do a preview first. Again, we could toggle this on and off, and which is great. And I could see what actual will look like when I plot it monochrome, right? 17 by 11. Let's go and do a preview. And again, only preview one layout, not the multiple layouts I've chosen. Again, this is 11 by 17 layout. B1, not for construction. So there are all these text that shows up because that script file is still turned on. So actually, in this case, I don't need to run a script file because it's already on. So I'm going to uncheck that. And again, go back and, add it back, the page setup. Although in reality, this doesn't matter for the script, running a script file because that information is not going to be saved in a page setup. But it will definitely be saved into the script file. Or again, we could edit the script file, just take a look at exactly what it does this time. Again, now it's called this in this location, folder location where it's being saved. And again, all the commands from the top all the way down to where it says script file commands begins here. All this is for the program to read back in so that it will know what was done before for additional changes and modifications to the script file. And then the actual commands begin down here. Okay, and then again, this tells you where it's going to save the folder location where the PDFs are going to be saved. And again, plot transparency if there's anything going on. And again, the device, the actual paper size, orientation, and so forth, right? And this should then repeat itself for the second layout, right? And you see it down here. It's going to do it for multiple layouts. The second layout is called the B2, 11 by 17 landscape B2. The first one is called 11 by 17 set to 11 by 17 landscape B1. Okay, so I'm going ahead and start this to let the script file run to create the two PDFs for these two layouts, 11 by 17. And again, it's appearing on my second screen. So here they are, B1 and B2. B1 and B2, right? Right, we'll bring this back up. Now to test how the script file actually works, if I would open one of the model one, because that should then give me all the information which I just saved in the model views one, which I just created here, right? Open that. Notice that it tells me that there's the page set was set to none before, and then it went immediately to the model tab. It didn't stay in the layout tab, but it went to the model tab, got all the views that I had selected before, right? The plot stamp, the run script file first. So all that has now actually been retrieved in here, right? Along with even display plot style from that script file, right? The scale, the center. So all the information is saved so that I don't have to, and then I can now modify. Go, I'm going to do a DWF this time, and DWF, and then I'm going to actually save this, add and overwrite model views for DWF, let's say, model views, DWF. So now I have a DWF one. That will actually, now if I click on that to start running that, it's going to actually create these views. Now let's do a preview first to see how, again, they only show me one of the views, which is fine. All right, and then start. This time it's going to create DWFs instead of PDFs. So again, the flexibility is there so that I don't have to redo the settings, the plot settings, because I've saved them in a script file. I could reopen the script file and edit and make changes to the previous script file, which I've saved for the purpose of applying to other drawings, so that I'm not stuck with doing everything that's in the page setups in the current drawing. And again, there are limitations with page setups because you can't do multiple views and things like that. Or run, again, the page setups don't include information on running another script file before generating the plot. Right, so I'm gonna actually close all the DWFs that are being created. All right, So that basically concludes the demonstration for script magician's plot command.